I know, we will get the, I told you I would. We'll decide what day. How about this? I can show you lessons for a couple days, like lesson plans, and you can choose which one.
You should
Is that
let
good?
me teach.
That way it'll be something that you're interested in. Or if you want to come up with something and then let me see it, you can do that too. Which do you want to do? I don't care.
You.
Okay, that's fine.
I gotta go.
Okay, all right, so Katie, we're gonna pick up on making meaning, the magic of the mind. Katie said she would graciously read
I
you.
forgot about that.
You can, I know, I didn't forget, the first paragraph for me, and then I'll take over for you. Okay, does that sound good? So listen, I don't want anybody doing anything else. They need to be paying attention to
You're not
Katie.
recording then?
I am. Okay,
In July 1977, Flying Magazine reported that fatal crash of a small plane that killed all 8 people aboard and 1 person who was on the ground. 60 eyewitnesses were interviewed who had actually seen the airplane just before the impact testified at a hearing to investigate the accident. The plane, one of the eyewitnesses explained, was heading right toward the ground, straight down. The witness apparently did not know several photographs clearly showed that the airplane was flat and hit flat and at a low angle to
perfect.
skid for almost 1,000 feet.
Excellent, thank you. We're gonna stop there for a minute. I wish
She sounded like a little
No, she did an excellent job. You did a really good job. We might make her read. Make her voice go. Okay, so we're gonna look over to the left on our vocabulary. Everyone see the box? The first one is indicate. Okay? So for the meaning, let's decide what we think a good word would be. to
Is that
put
in there?
We haven't gotten to it yet. That's why I wanted to do it before. We haven't gotten to it yet. So when we pre-teach vocabulary, like if I go over vocabulary words before we start a story, it's because I want you to be able to understand when you see the word used in the text, how it is being used and what it means. So sometimes it's nice to have that information and the definition before you actually get to the word. That way it helps you guys with comprehension, yes. Did you have questions? Okay, so for our meaning, to bring blank to something with an action.
Question.
What's that?
Question.
That could work. What else? So we're trying to bring what to something with an action? We're trying to make somebody notice something, right? So if you're trying to notice something, okay, keep going. I like your train of thought. Keep going. What about attention? Does that make sense to you guys? To bring attention to something with an action. I can write it right here. No, that's okay. Does that make sense to you guys? If you're trying to indicate something, to ATTENTION. TION. So you're trying to bring attention to something. So here's an example. So how do you indicate that you are done taking a test? Okay, all of you guys are going to answer this differently. You may do some of the same things, but the majority of you will have a different way of indicating. So I indicate that I am done taking a test by, your answers are going to be different. So how do you indicate that you're done taking a test, Colin? What do you do, sweetie?
If it's on the laptop, my iPad, I'll close it.
Okay, so you could write,
Put my head down.
I close my iPad, or you could write, I put my head down, right there. Okay, so Alyssa, how do you indicate that you're done with the test? What do you do? Nothing? Just done, you turn the paper over? No. Put your pencil down? Okay, there you go. You can say, put my pencil down. How about you, Leland?
Well, it says play on go to sleep.
Okay, go to sleep. We shouldn't do that.
I want to sleep last for the whole period.
Okay, Jackson, what do you do?
Sharing answers.
No, you better not.
Oh,
I'm waiting for one of you guys to be honest
I just
and say what you actually, some of you do.
I say.
What do you get on?
My phone? No, I'm good to that. I'm on my phone down.
Okay, so
Cheater.
for me, I indicate that I'm done taking a test by turning over my paper. Okay? So everyone's gonna have a different answer. I just want you to write down how you indicate that you are done taking a test. Okay? So let's look at factor. First of all, somebody tell me what part of speech factor is. It's, look at the word,
Nah.
look at the word.
Something that's close.
Say it. Now? Yes.
Huh?
So now.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought you said math.
Oh, no. Factor. Okay, so something that what or causes a situation. Something that blank, stop it. Stop it, please. That blank or causes a situation. So a factor, let's think about this. So, okay, keep going with that. Okay, that's good. Keep
It's
going.
going to
Okay, so it has an,
affect.
yes, good job, perfect, something that affects or causes a situation, good job, that was, yeah, you can say that, Kitty, that was fine. Good
I
job.
don't know if you say
Wait, what?
AFFECTS, I'll write right here.
I thought it was AFFECT.
No, you're right, it's just that it's affects. AFF. AFFECTS. And I like this example. What is one factor that affects whether you get to class on time?
if I stop all about
Exactly, so so you'll write one factor over on your blank, that affects whether I get to class on time is if I blank. So whatever you just said, Donald, write it down.
Walk fast.
Here's another example, if I get distracted by my friends. So one factor that affects whether I get to class on time is if I get distracted by my friends. And most of you guys get to class on time, alright?
Especially
depending on which class.
homework.
Okay, so let's write down your example. So what can cause you to not get to class on time? Did you already write it? Good job. How about you, Jackson? Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm gonna start our next paragraph.
Class.
Eyewitnesses are also important for criminal investigations. Suppose that a crime occurs. The police are notified, and they arrive at the scene and begin to ask questions. What happened? The witness is asked. What did the assailant look like? After the witness tells the police that he can remember what he can remember, he may be asked to come to the police station to look through a set of photographs. The witness is asked to indicate whether he has seen any of them before. So there's our word indicate. So how is it being used in the sentence?
If he's recognized.
So the witness is asked to indicate, yeah, to let them know whether he's seen any of them before. Good job. Okay. So let's flip over to our next page. So we're at paragraph 8, top of the page. Keep in mind that most witnesses want to help. In the case of a violent crime or assault, they have an added incentive to help the police capture a violent criminal. Although witnesses try hard to identify the true criminal, when they are uncertain or when no one person in the lineup exactly matches their memory, they will often identify the person who best matches their recollection of the criminal. And often their choice is wrong. So think about that. That's kind of scary. What are the solutions to this problem? It would be a tragic mistake to exclude all witness testimony. Very often it is the only evidence available. And often an eyewitness's testimony is correct. But what about that small percentage of time when it is incorrect? How can we protect the rights of the innocent person who might be falsely accused? Defense attorneys often ask judges to read a list of instructions to the jury on the dangers of eyewitness identification. But the instructions tend to be hard for many people to follow. Another possible solution in eyewitness cases is expert testimony. A psychologist can explain to the jury how human memory works. Someone tell me what they think of a psychologist is.
psychologist.
What do they study?
I think that's neat. Medical and
Mine, that's right, good job. This is what I do. I testify in court about the nature of human memory and the psychological factors that affect eyewitness testimony. I testify in cases where eyewitness identification is the only or main evidence against the defendant. Some of these are death penalty cases where the consequences of a mistaken identification are potentially irreversible. What is irreversible? Does anybody know?
Can't be changed.
That's right, good job. Excellent job, that's right. So how would you guys feel if you were on trial for your life and the eyewitness testimony is what could send you to jail or not?
I hope I'm guilty.
You'd be pretty, you're right, you hope that you've actually done something wrong. Well, not that we want you to do something wrong, but I'm just saying, I know what you mean by that statement. When
Yeah, I better, I'm gonna, if I'm gonna, work for you.
When I testify in a criminal trial, my testimony does not guarantee that innocent people will go free, but I undoubtedly increase their chances. I know what you mean. What you were trying to say is that you hope that you're not innocent and then you get proven guilty, correct? But if you're gonna be proven guilty,
Yeah, something like that.
okay, that's how I took what you said. I knew what you meant. Okay. So in paragraph 11, stop, Leland, please. Look at paragraph 11. That's the last one to the bottom, or excuse me, the second one to the bottom. This is what I do. What does that tell us about Dr. Elizabeth Loftus? What does she say? What does she do? Right? She-
Psychologist.
Right? And what does she testify to? In court. Human what? You're right.
Human race?
Human memory? Okay, human memory and the psychological factors that affect eyewitness testimony. Okay,
Well, it doesn't say anything.
what, honey?
It don't say anything.
What's today? 17?
Yes.
Bro. you
Okay,
see
so let's look. We're not gonna do the central ideas in details today. I want you to go to your parts of speech. Keep going, turn
I'm
back.
gonna do these.
I know, we're not gonna do those right now.
What?
We're gonna go to parts of speech. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So let's look at our words. Okay, so look under identifying nouns and adjectives. Okay, we've all talked about what nouns and adjectives are. I think you guys have a solid understanding.
Wait, am I the right maker?
Yeah, parts of speech. Yeah. Okay, so under identifying nouns and adjectives, I want you to underline the noun in each sentence, okay? And then circle the adjective that describes each noun. So this goes along with the story. Have you seen the young woman? So I want you to underline the noun and circle the adjective that describes the noun. So where's our noun? Underline our noun, person, place, or thing. And then you circle the adjective that's describing the noun. So what's describing our noun? Perfect, good job. So we got our adjective is what, Leland, tell me.
What?
What's our adjective?
No.
Right, what's our noun? Perfect. Number 2, understanding what we see is a complex process. Okay, it's okay. Person, place, or thing.
So wouldn't it be processed and then you underline complex?
I like 3 because it's gonna trick you a little bit.
No, I'm number 2.
Okay, so what's your noun? Dr. Loftus?
Yeah.
Knowledgeable, what's your noun?
Knowledge.
Wait, nope, wait. Person, place, or thing.
Loftus.
That's why I like it, it tricks you.
Doctor, it's the,
No, you're right, Dr. Loftus is the noun.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
What's describing her? Well, what is she?
Doctor.
No, what is she?
She's a doctor.
No, not before her name. I think I'm confusing you.
That's what we've been saying.
What?
We were
We've been saying
saying that.
knowledgeable.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said like on.
You did?
Yeah.
I apologize. I did not think that's what you said. I thought you were separating doctor and office. I'm sorry. Okay, that's my fault. All right. So 4, the witness was caught lying and unreliable. I'll cut off your, sorry. The witness was caught lying and unreliable.
Witness and car. Just it's what the
Lying.
Free. Hers.
But wait, hold on. What describes your witness? What are they?
Lying.
Well, unreliable.
Unreliable.
And then you start with.
Witness.
Well, this is so much.
No, you're doing great.
No, I'm not.
This is why I like this story, because we get to talk about our vocabulary. We'll do the central ideas and the main details. I'm gonna have to stop for today, and then we can come back and we can apply our meaning. I like it because it kind of breaks things up into different categories for you guys. Okay, does anybody have any questions on what we did?
Yeah, like, 8 minutes.
I know, we're running out. Listen, tomorrow, I like this. Tomorrow, we're going to take a look at,
We have 2
the
minutes.
yes versus
No,
no.
that's not it.
Hold on, listen, hold on. Tomorrow, we're going to look at yes versus no. And should trials use eyewitness testimony? So some of you guys are, hey, listen, do not start packing up. I'm still teaching. Some of you are going to decide whether you believe yes, trials should use eyewitness testimony, and then some of you are gonna say no, can decide whether you feel like no, that eyes can lie, that the eyewitness testimony is not reliable, okay? So that's what we're gonna be looking at tomorrow. Good? Okay.
Bye, teacher.